This LIV, which is Roman numerals for 54, which is how many holes they play. There you go.
Cute.
Nugget of the day.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of talk about the new golf league, Saudi sponsored. There's all kinds of levels to this. So what do you think?
Well, it's competition. I think the PGA's worry about this. It's called, taking some of their stars and moving them over here where you wanted them all in one spot. I will say this, though. I find it very interesting when we want to take these little political debates on certain topics and then avoid them on other topics, specifically on this. So I guess the Saudi money has become an issue. But has anybody looked into their house or maybe the appliances they have or the things that they do or maybe their 401k and see where their money is going? All of the money, entire world is commingled someplace else. Or their sneakers that they bought or where they were made and all the other. I don't want to get into this debate, but it seems to be.
No, you do, though.
But I do because we often want to say, let's keep politics out of sports. Yet politics is involved in every part of sports, every day, all the time. I believe Dustin Johnson said something to the point of the greatest line you can give, I'm doing what's best for my family.
Yeah, I mean, to draw a direct line to what you're saying, right? Like, look. There's a debate to be had about the Saudis and all this thing. And Phil Mickelson could not have said worse things than he did when this whole thing first started, right? That's what kicks this whole thing off. And I understand that there are people upset with this, but it's weird. The same folks that were taking shots at the NBA and LeBron James forever about
for
China, right? Those people have been awfully quiet. Those same exact people have been awfully quiet about Lefty, about Dustin Johnson, about all of these people that are leaving, right? Like, if you're going to turn sports into a political circus, which has been happening, well, just be consistent with it, right? If you're not going to watch the NBA and not support it because you don't agree with what LeBron James, the NBA, is doing, well, you have to take the same take on what's happening here with this Saudi league because it's a direct correlation between the two things.
So it seems the whole thing, to your point, I think, it's also hypocritical. Because, if I'm working for somebody whose politics I don't agree with, does that mean I have to, or if I move to Texas or any of this stuff, that'll get called.
Yeah, they'll definitely talk about that. But I think you're right in a sense that if you look at your own house and see what you're doing and see where your money is going and see where it's allocated and what you buy, what country it comes from and the rights and we'd all be basically have no appliances and be naked, for crying out loud, and get rid of everything. But that being said, though, it is this discussion though about Gabe Kapler and this whole discussion over guns. You know what I mean? Nobody brings that up. If you have this issue, he's directly talking about Texas, but these things that keep coming up. I mean, the Brittany Griner shirts now, NBA. Nobody. 3 years ago, there was a huge debate on, well, we don't want politics mixed in together. But Bill, throughout years, politics has always been mixed in to make a point about an issue.
But at least those guys are going out and putting themselves out there and says, I want to talk about this. This thing, these guys don't want to talk about it, and it's like. Well, who wouldn't?
Well, but forever there have been guys that don't want to talk about things. Like, we only remember the great things that changed in our society because of sports. You remember your Bill Russells and your Kareem Abdul-Jabbars and your Muhammad Ali, right? And Jackie Robinson and the way that Sandy Koufax dealt with all that stuff, right? Like, you forget, along the way, there were guys on the other side going, I don't want to do anything. Let me keep my mouth shut. Yeah. So here's the thing. If we're going to celebrate the Jackie Robinsons and the Alis and the Russells and the Kareem Abdul-Jabbars and the Billie Jean Kings, I think you do have to acknowledge when you think something's being screwed up here, because without that, what do those other things mean? If we're going to take Jackie Robinson's number off of the back of every baseball player because of the significant contribution he made, which he did, absolutely, I agree with what you're doing, well, then how do you not address things that you don't believe are right with what's going on?
Let me ask you quickly, because the examples you gave are all old. Billie Jean King, Muhammad Ali, Jackie Robinson, generations ago.
Sure.
Is this a statement on where we're at today versus where we were at maybe in the 60s, 70s?
Well, I think right now, you have a clearer picture of the 60s because we're further away from it, the 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, whether it's, from Jackie Robinson up to Billie Jean King. Things are still blurry now within the last 25 years because we don't know how these things are going to play out socially. There have been massive steps made in sports that aren't fully acknowledged yet. Hell, who knows how we look at Michael Sam being drafted as the first openly gay player? Who knows how we look at Carl Nassib being the first openly gay player in the NFL 15, 20, 25 years from now? That could be a massive step in sports history. It's just we're too close to it.